Balki, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to come here, especially since I don't know you at all, and you're actually one of the first people that I've never met before this thing. Normally with everyone it's been like a,
really
relationship. So our Balki, as we all know, is an ad filmmaker. He's the chairman and the chief creative officer of Low Linters and Partners. And he's made 3 feature films, Chini Kam, Pa, and the latest Shamitab. And we are extremely privileged to have you here on Boston today. To begin with, like I said, I've done a lot of research on you because, like I said, I don't know you otherwise.
Okay.
Okay. And something that came up constantly in my research is that you spoke a lot about storytelling. Do you believe that a 3-minute TVC is also storytelling as much as a feature film is?
Yeah, sometimes even bigger. Because I think any piece of communication is a story that you are telling in some way or the other. Even if you announce it, it's a story that you're telling. I think you tell very, very complicated stories actually quite simply in 30-45. Yeah, it is storytelling.
Okay. And now, is storytelling something that has to be completely original, comes only from our mind, or can it be an amalgamation of experiences, what we've noticed, what we've seen, what we've read? When you say storytelling, do you mean only what comes from your own mind?
I think you would like to believe it comes from your own mind, but your own mind is made up of a lot of influences that have happened in your life. So, whereas nothing really is original, but I think it's about how you interpret what's happened. In a way that, at least as far as you know, it hasn't been done before, it hasn't been interpreted before. And that's what I think you mean by originality.
Yeah.
So I think the attempt is to kind of do something that you haven't seen before. Not that hasn't been done before, but that's almost impossible because you wouldn't have seen everything.
Right.
So that is the attempt. And always stories have, there are formats and there are templates and there are only so many templates and stories. Within that, how different you can be.
Okay. So okay, you made your first film after being an ad maker for a long time. So had you by then collected a whole lot of stories and you pull them out one at a time and go to Amitabh and say, we're doing this?
Not at all, actually. I'm not an ad film maker, I'm an advertising person. Because and you tell stories and you write stories. So actually it's got nothing to do with it. Each time you want to tell a different story. You don't want to kind of have a bank of stories and you just pull out each one of them. That's not the fun. The fun is actually when you think of a problem, what's the story you can quickly think of? I'll give you a small example, it might kind of illustrate it better. When we were doing an ad for Havells, the wires, it was about wires that don't catch fire. And for an electrical equipment, you can do certain kinds of ads. But I always remembered, my mother used to make chapatis or fulkas or whatever. I used to hate fulkas only because she used to burn her hand every time while making that stuff. And she used to have this stuff. And I wondered, what is this torturous process? Why do you have to make things like this? So I remembered that torture. And I said, what if we kind of make a pucker kind of thing with the wires and do that? So I think the story itself is not original because I've seen my mother, been happening to my mother. But the fact that I can twist a wire and kind of do that stuff was my attempt to kind of do something original to that. So that's what I think originality is, because stories are there in the world. It's part of your experiences. Right. Like if you take a Shamitab, how can I say that the story of Amitabh has got his voice. That's why you get a story. So you have an inspiration somewhere from there.
Right. So it's how you present it really that is different. In fact, now that you're talking about that Havel ad, I remember it was a very emotional ad.
Yeah.
Because it's about this little boy who does it for his mother.
Yeah.
So you got that right, totally right, I have to say.
Thank you.
Okay, since you brought up Amitabh, you see a lot of facets in Amitabh, obviously. What are the other aspects of him that you would still like to explore?
I have no idea. I don't explore facets of him. It's like, to me, he is to a lot of people, he's been Hindi cinema, and a lot of the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we kind of, say various things, I like the way Amitabh Bachchan says it in some way or the other in your head. So therefore, that's a natural part of an influence, but I don't start like that. I start that, okay, what's an idea? Okay, somewhere the idea has always happened to kind of fit, at least the first 2 films. The third one was actually an idea based on his voice to start off. But the first 2 started off with an idea. Said, okay, how can we kind of do this with Amitabh Bachchan? That's how it kind of started. Okay.
Now, as a man who has been responsible for so many TVCs, which are made in 3 minutes, and these 3 films that are made...
3 minutes is a long time for a TVC. Nobody makes TVCs 3 minutes anymore.
See, that just shows how ignorant I am about ads.
45 seconds is a big TVC.
45 seconds. Okay, so that makes the question even more interesting. Because here's 45 seconds on one hand and there's 100 minutes on the other. Now, if you could make one of those TVCs into a 100-minute film and one of those films into a 45-second TVC, which would they be?
I think I would love to. I mean, you always wish for more time in TV series. I would love to make a lot of the ads, like Fair and Lovely ads, when Janelia was introduced as the cricket commentator.
Okay.
I would love to make that into a feature. We constructed it as a feature only.
Okay.
To do that, a girl cricket commentator, and I love that thing. Films, I wish I could make all my films into 45 seconds.
You wouldn't be imagine bar in 35 minutes.
I love it. Fun. It just happens and over and out, everybody goes home that fast.
But not so happy. Now, since you've made these 3 films with Mr. Bachchan, so which of his films have given you reference points into when you were shooting with him? Or have there been any films that you've taken as reference points for things that he could or could not do?
Not, of course, all his films actually. I mean, because Bachchan, the personality, is a total of all his films, scenes from various films, and he's become a character. More than an actor, he's become a character himself. So therefore, you're talking now of Bachchan, the character. So you can't say that film and this film. Some total of a drunken scene there, a poker-faced wit here, an angry young man here, something else here, a romantic look here. It's all a combination now of the Bachchan, the character. Now you're dealing with Bachchan, the character, as you know him. Yeah. So that's how I deal with it. I don't deal with any particular film, though I've got my favorite films.
Which are these?
Strangely enough, I love Naseeb very much. In fact, little more than Amar Akbar Anthony. I don't know why.
Really?
I don't know why. I just find that film always a little more entertaining. I love Amar Akbar Anthony, but this more than that. And then I like a film called Dostana, only for one scene, where he rags, where is that? That's some helipad or something like that, some small aircraft place. He's sitting there and ragging Zeenat Aman, absolutely straight face. I've never seen those days just a guy sitting across the table and dragging and really, giving, just not even laughing one bit, just cold face, just like kind of pulling a leg. It was a fascinating scene, I think. And that's the beauty of Bachchan, I think more than actor, performer, man and all that stuff, something about him, some personality. This was in the 70s, late 70s,
yeah, it would have been,
with dog collars and bell bottoms and things like that.
Yeah.
But if you take those performances today, just look at it, and just if you can somehow shut the dog collar and the bell bottoms off your eye, he's still cooler and more modern, more contemporary in terms of expressions, underplaying things, saying than many people today. So that is what is so fascinating. That's something I don't think he thought about it. That's how it came to him naturally, and that was what is great about it.
So you mentioned a few favorites. Naseeb was obviously one. Which are the other ones that you...
I love Mukaddar Ka Sikandar. I love Trishul very much. I love Mukaddar Ka Sikandar.
Any of the more recent ones that he did after his so-called comeback, where he played like the patriarch of the...
There was a film called Waqt.
Yeah.
And people, laughed at me when I said I liked it. But I somehow sat in that film and howled. I don't know why. It's a strange film. It's a very cliched film in a lot of ways, but I think it had some emotion which kind of, and he was superb in it. I don't know why. But that was the film after his so-called comeback that I was I enjoyed most. I don't know why.
You see Hindi films regularly, do you? I mean, like besides Bachchan films?
Yeah, but I see most films actually. I see Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, all kinds of films.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask you was that, in the 80s, largely because of Mr. Bachchan, because he was so larger than life, so the heroines had very little to do. I mean, they barely have this 2-song, 2-dance type of things. Now, do you think that era is actually past, or judging from a lot of our recent films, where it is like, like a Singham, or like so many of these Akshay Kumar crap films that he makes, Shahid Kapoor? Or do you think that era is still upon us? Should we get rid of it? Or what is your take on all this?
See, I don't think there's anything that's past or present or whatever. As long as it's interesting, as long as it's entertaining. I mean, I would love to see a Rowdy Rathore. Okay. But I would not like to see some other kind of film in that genre if it's not interesting. I mean, it had some foolish comedy, it had some slapstick. I was enjoying myself. Like, I went to Chennai Express and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I mean, it was one of the most entertaining films of last year. So, it's not whether something has passed, something is present. It should just be interesting. I mean, you've got to make films interesting. And there's no genre that's passé. There's no new genre, old genre. It's just, let's think of themes that are interesting.
So, if somebody started your films in new wave cinema, would that make you happy, upset? What?
No, I think that would be quite passé because I don't think it's new wave. I always think it's so old-fashioned. New wave is a long way off, and I just hope the new wave really comes. This is not new wave. This is like, it's really, middle of the road stuff.
You're married to Gauri Shinde, a very talented director who gave us English for English. Now, considering that your home has these two talented directors, what are your cinematic disagreements and agreements mostly on? Yeah?
Huge. We disagree on everything in cinema. Just when she says, I like that, I say no. And when I say, I love this stuff, she says, you're stuck in the, past. She would say that. Or I'll say some one of these fabulous films, only you understand it, I don't understand anything. So there are disagreements. There are, of course, a few things we agree on. Number one, the films that we make.
Okay.
Also, we don't fully agree on, but we agree on some films. Mostly Woody Allen films, we both agree on. Yeah, but otherwise it's a nice disagreement.
Keeps it going. Keeps
it fun. I mean, she's. I know the moment I like something, I know she won't like it. So I always get that sense.
And so, how did you like English for English?
I loved it. In the sense more because I've lived with it. When she told me the idea, I believed it's a film that must be done. It's a universal subject. It's so universal, and very rarely do you get themes like a Lagan, which is based on cricket, which is universal for India, and an English for English, which is actually globally far more relevant than just India. And when she told me the film, I was determined that we should do it somehow. And it was difficult producing it, but then finally we decided to produce it ourselves because we couldn't produce it any other way.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. And how much of a sounding board are you to each other if you're so diametrically opposite in your views on cinema?
We tell each other most things that we do in our films. We don't necessarily take each other's advice. And that's why. And she'll always tell me, that's why you should take more of my advice. And I always say, that's why you should take less of mine. But I think we are our only sounding board. We are our sounding board, but we don't necessarily listen to each other.
Okay. And you all have similar interests in reading and stuff like that?
Diametrically opposite, actually. I read Jeffrey Archer, I read John Grisham, I read all trash. And I watch all kinds of movies. I see all kinds of masala. She won't step into it. She'll say, no, I don't want to waste my time doing this and all. I see Tamil, I see Telugu, I see all these action Telugu films. I love Mahesh Babu films. I like all trash.
Okay.
And I like all these meaningful cinema when in the mood. But the only thing we really agree on is Marathi cinema, because I love Marathi cinema. Some of the films they're doing, I think, is the best of Indian cinema. Few of them are fabulous. That we agree on.
Okay. So could there be a Marathi film in the offing?
I don't know Marathi. She knows well. She's the one who should be making it, not me.
True. Now, when you made Chinikam in 2007, at that point, did you think that this was like going to be the next step in your career, or was it? Or did you think of it as a transition phase, or was it at that point just a one-off thing that you were doing? You had this idea, you wanted to make a feature film, but you were always going to continue with what you were doing.
No, very strangely, I always thought advertising was a stopgap. I got into advertising thinking it was films, and I got conned into joining advertising. And I've lived with the con because I've enjoyed the con for a long time. And I got addicted to the con. And one day when I was struggling to get another idea for the con, and then suddenly I was just tripping, and I just had this idea for Chinikam. And I was bouncing it off my colleague who was sitting opposite me, and he was expecting me to say something on Lifeboy. I said, no, I've got this idea. That's it. This because of film. Immediately after that, we got the Lifeboy. I think sometimes some ideas trigger the other idea. But I always thought advertising, in my mind, I think I'm in advertising till I make a film. But I've spent far more time in advertising than in film. So therefore, it seems the other way around.
Yeah. So, but given a choice, would you give it up and do just films? Given
a choice, I would give up the job, but I wouldn't give up advertising because I love this process of solving problems with little stories, For me, the game is like when somebody tells me there's a problem, okay, let me fit one of my fantasies into solving your problem. That's a trip, which is a good trip, and somebody's paying you for it, so why not?
Seriously.
So it's good.
I can think of no better way to spend my daytime. So you said you are in the category that considers men less than women, and we are weak. We don't have the strength of women. We might be just a little heavier than women, but they have more brains and are far more beautiful, and the entire world power is with them. You stand by that still?
I do. I was with the truth just 5 minutes back with my wife, so I do.
Okay.
But I believe in it because I think that the dice is loaded in favor of women today.
Sorry, how?
And I'll tell you how. Because they are naturally better, naturally gifted, like I said, far more pleasant looking. So therefore the world likes to look at them and not at us. And genetically, if you're superior, and naturally, if you're superior, look-wise you're superior, and legally you're superior.
Okay.
What do you need in the world? Nothing much.
Understanding?
You have to get understanding with all that power that you have. You have no choice. So I was just joking. I genuinely believe that. I really believe. I don't know what's this hoo-ha about men. I mean, just the past. We need to, smash a few guys who just think they're kind of. So that's fun.
Okay. So the question here is that how come you've not ever made what we in the film world call a women-centric film, and is it that you're still trying to understand them and that's why you haven't done that?
No, actually, funnily enough, in fact, Bachchan told me the other day, you're just using me to do all women-centric film because I think Chinikam was, in fact, slightly more Tabu's film, as much as, if not equal to Bachchan. And Vidya was a very, very powerful character.
Yes, she was.
Vidya was hugely as powerful as Bachchan was. And in Shamitab, actually, Akshara, between the two of them, is a far more powerful character. So, in a strange way, much as I would like to do men-centric films, nature doesn't permit me to do it because I believe that women are more powerful. It comes out in my script, regardless of what I feel or what I want to do. It has to be there. It'll sound false otherwise.
Yeah, true. So basically, what you're saying is that you are already doing them. You are already doing the women.
I'm not doing any women or men-centric anything like that. I just write for the characters, and the characters come out as I believe in the species, themselves. That's all.
Okay. How much of your creative decisions are also ruled by the fact that you're a producer?
None, because I think I turned producer in English to English so that we could do the film exactly the way we wanted to.
Okay.
Because if I produced this film with somebody else, there would have been a lot of compromises because it was an expensive film for a single, like we have in this market, they have, a single heroine film.
Yeah.
There are no other stars. Sridevi is coming back. How can we make a 20 crore film? I mean, that's huge. And it was the cost of the film. You're shooting 55 days in New York.
Exactly.
So various producers will come and tell you, why don't you shoot in London? It's cheaper because you get rebates. So why don't you just create a set here for the house? And everybody creates a set of the US in here. Why do you want to go to the US and shoot? Everybody look through the window, it's not US. Yeah, you see some millions, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And a director writes a film because New York is her favorite city. So if you've written a film in New York, favorite city, and I say I make it in London, why would I want to make that film?
Exactly.
And simple things people don't understand is London is not as intimidating as New York is because London's got so many more Indians and you feel like you're in Delhi or Bombay, most places in London, so it's not so intimidating. Most Indians in London don't even know proper English, they're surviving beautifully without it.
Exactly.
So it's not a film then. So I think these compromises, if you don't want to make, you have to get into production. So actually I produce not for any other reason so that I can keep my creative conscience alive, not the other way around.
Not the other way. And so tell me, what's the funniest thing that a distributor has told you about your films? Distributors have their own lingo that they speak.
Not the funniest thing, the best thing somebody told me was after the film in Shamitab. And this was, I always trust the theatre people.
Okay.
Theatre people are the best distributors in the thing. Yeah. And there's this manager at PVR in Jew, and he's my only feedback. After the first show, I asked him, how's it going? What's happening? And he said, sir, and he said, he was very serious and he said, kya ho raha hai? I said, problem na, I know what the problem, tell me what the problem is. He said, sir, people are saying in a very soft voice, achhi picture hai. In a big voice, they're saying, par bahut heavy hai. So I said, so heavy hai picture kya? Nahi sir, he told me, heavy ka matlab hai, Bollywood ka sabse dangerous word heavy hai. I said, why? See, heavy itna, ye aisa hota hai, heavy can mean very serious, heavy can mean very sad, heavy can mean very long, heavy can mean very boring, heavy can mean no entertainment, heavy can mean full thinking, heavy can mean big bore, or heavy can mean too intellectual. Okay, you choose. All of them are bad words as far as cinema is concerned. Okay, and I said, and he said, he told me, sir, आपके पास दूसरा ending होगा ना उसमें last 20 minutes में दूसरा ending होना डाल दीजिए. I said, क्या ending डालूँ यार? He told me, sir, वो सच का speech होता है ना, वो सच, उसको क्यों ना climax बनाते हैं?
अच्छा, oh my God.
सब लोग हंस के जाएंगे बाहर. I said, I thought of all that stuff, but I don't want to do it like that. I want people to cry. नहीं चलेगा sir, नहीं चलेगा. People only think how good a film is based on the last 20 minutes. You can entertain them for 2 hours, last 20 minutes make them cry, Rona Dona film. Chalo gaya. And it was so simple. Yeah. And he was not being a distributor, he had nothing to lose. He was just watching the movie, he was my friend. And he had the best feedback to give me.
True.
And I said, too bad. Yeah, this is how I thought of it. Cursed my mind. Too bad. That's it.
Yes, but that's what I meant. It's remarkable how much you can learn from this, like the heavy is the lingo that I'm
It's a heavy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine such a lethal word?
Yeah.
If anybody says heavy, run. Away from that. So I've sworn never to make a film.
That's heavy?
Where anybody dies,
Okay.
anybody sheds even one tear in that film, they will not shed. If they tear also, it won't come out.
Okay.
It'll be inside their eyes. And they will all run out of the theatre screaming and happy and running around in joy. That I'm 100% sure.
Now also you have repeatedly in your interviews spoken about Ilayaraja and what an influence he was on your making films to begin with and why you want him in every film that you make. Now whilst we are not at all arguing the point that he has boundless talent and everything, I just want to know that what it is about him that inspires you so much.
All of us have influences which happen quite early on in our life, which is what dictates the mood of our films, the mood of what we write, the mood of what we do. His music, at a time when I was not even interested in cinema, when my father used to force me to come to a theatre, when I heard this music, I said, hey, this sounds damn nice. And I didn't see the visuals. If I'd seen the visuals, I'd never have made cinema. But I just heard the music and I just imagined a lot of beautiful things in my head. So I said, where's this music coming from? It was my introduction. So I think all of us have our favorite music.
Yes.
But his music, what has happened is affected a full civilization. And I was part of that civilization, but I happened to be in Bangalore, which is more cosmopolitan than Chennai, where I would have heard only his music. So I saw a lot of films from all languages, but his music affected me the most. So I can never get rid of his music from my head. Though today I think a person like Amit Trivedi is one of the finest composers I've heard.
Yeah.
He's mind-blowing, he's marvelous. But I'm wired. My system is wired with Raja sir's music, and I think he is music to me, and he's music as far as cinema goes to me.
That's nice to know. I mean that he was so much there for you. Okay, now Mr. Bachchan, I don't mean to harp on Mr. Bachchan, but since your work has so largely been with him, he's very awe-inspiring to anyone, and especially if you're younger than him, like he's amazing. Now when you are directing him, how easy or difficult is it to do it? And I want you to give me like an example. Like I want you to take the scene from Chini Kam where he marches out of the kitchen to confront Tabu because she sent the food back. What is the sort of instruction you would give him?
I'll tell you, Amitji and I have had, yes, of course I love him as an actor, but I've had the maximum number of fights also with him.
Okay.
And quite strangely, the very first day I met him at the shoot was the first fight that we had. It was a massive fight. I didn't even know I was going to do the film. Here is this legend coming in here. Here am I, an upstart. And he's the guy who's actually encouraged me to make a film and all this stuff without being, so respectful of him. He comes in, there's the first scene of something with the chefs and all this stuff. And he's doing it once and he thinks he's done it. I said, no, once more. No. So what do you want? I'm saying I'm doing all kinds of gestures because I can't say do this, do that. At the end of the third, fourth take, fifth take, and every other take has been 1 or 2 takes in the whole film. Only that the first shot, fourth, fifth take, I say, cold, poker face. That's the best. Don't act, stand and deliver. He got damn pissed off at stand and deliver. I don't want to see one expression in your face. You're the only actor whose voice expresses everything. Even the voice shouldn't have any expression. Just straight boldness, the thing, just zero expression. So he came and he's so angry. He said, you want me to do it like this? Deliberately he did a very bland face, completely disinterested. And he shouted at me. I said, bang on, got it. And he told the whole unit, this is the direct. See, no expression. What is the direct direction? Come, I'll tell you. But don't give any expression. Cut. Expression cut. So he used to rag me right through the film of saying this is the no expression direct. He doesn't want any expression in anybody's face. He just wants a blank face, poker face. And that day he actually, I'm saying it quite funnily, but that day was not. It was full tension. The whole unit was very tense where Bachchan would walk off the set first day and upstart. So the very first day I had a fight with him and I've continued having it till the last day of Amitabh. So that's been fun. I think today we've grown to understand that when we fight that we don't mean harm, we mean good to each other. But it's great fun to fight with him.
But other than this one thing, is it otherwise easy to tell him that what you're doing is wrong? I mean, is it easy to use that word like that?
It's very easy to tell him. It's very difficult to listen to him because he'll have a counter to everything that you say. So to counter, first time it's easy, second time it's easy, third time, who tires first? Fortunately, He's been the bigger man, and he's said, okay, if you want to do it this way, I'll do it. He'll finish the shot and continue talking about it. No, that was better. Watch, that was better. So I have to listen to that right through the film. But I've got my shot, so you keep telling me all that.
What advice would you give a young, aspiring writer or director or stroke director? What should he see? What should he read? What should his influences be? Should he watch only the masters, whether Indian or otherwise? Well, what do you say? Or should he go to a college or school which teaches directing? Or should he assist somebody? I mean, basically, what is your advice?
Watching wise, just watch what you like.
Okay.
I mean, if you feel you like somebody standing in a frame for 25 minutes and watching a water drop from the wall, watch it.
Okay.
No problem. If you feel, you like Indiana Jones, watch it. If you feel like you like Chennai Express, watch it. Because what you like is what you'll be. You can't change your tastes and your likes for anybody or anything in the world. Anybody can call it good cinema and bad cinema. Who are they to judge it? What you like is good cinema for you.
Right.
Same thing with books, and same thing with directors working. If you like to assist somebody to learn, if that's your way of learning, so be it. If you believe that you don't want to assist anybody, you just watch and you want to just hope for luck to kind of drop in and somebody's going to make you make a film, great. And if you believe you can write your own script and with a bit of luck you can get that script to be approved somebody and get it financed, so be it. Believe, if you really believe that you needed to be educated and guided by somebody, go through this thing. Don't listen to anybody else who's got it the easier way.
Yeah.
But if you believe that you're not the guy who's going to listen to anybody, you want your original voice, you don't want to assist anybody, go try that way. I don't think there is any right, wrong way, but you must do what you instinctively believe is the right way for you.
The institutes that teach you acting, directing and all that, if you believe that you need to do it, then you should.
Do it.
It's not like the art is there, the craft can be honed.
If you believe that institutes are a way to tell you something that you feel you've got inside you and you can't, and you need some techniques to express it, it may not be an institute, it could be a guide, a teacher, anybody. Go for it, and they're invaluable. But if you feel that, no, I just want to appear before a camera and I don't want anybody's kind of sensibility to spoil me, pray and try it. I think it can work. I mean, a lot of people have succeeded in lots of ways. There is no one rule.
Yeah. And what has been your experience of critics?
It's funny. There are some people sometimes who write who haven't even seen. I sometimes feel they haven't seen a film.
Okay.
And I'm not talking necessarily of my film. I'm talking sometimes about the film that I've seen, and they're writing some reviews. Did they see the same film that I'm seeing? Sometimes I'm extremely disappointed. Sometimes they get it right. Again, critics are human beings, so they like some, you may not like some. They don't like others, you may like others. But I find a few of them genuinely wonderful to read. More than, I don't want to read a critic saying that how many stars he got. Sometimes, there are some people in the film industry who pray that he doesn't give you more than 2 stars because then it's a surefire hit.
Yeah.
Because the 4.5, 5 stars are tending into that, niche film, because these guys will like. That's wrong. Because I think there are a lot of critics who have given mass good films or blockbusters also fabulous reviews, and they've made mistakes like most people. I don't think you should base your life on what a critic tells you, because I think that's his point of view. He has every right to express it. So what if he's in a mass media and he's in a position to influence everybody? I think you need to think that people have a common sense if there are enough number of people who like it, and you see more than 70% of the film, despite critics, they have worked because people have liked it. And I think that's where you should go. And I don't hate them or like them. They have to do a job. I have to do a job. Please do it. I do it. Keep moving on. That's what it is.
Ads are about, and correct me if I'm being very, very, if I'm simplifying it too much. Ads are about taglines. They're about slogans. Do you feel tempted to do that in your films too? Shamita, the man who couldn't, or who could, or whatever, something. Do you ever feel tempted to do that?
If you could do that in every film would really work damn well, because a slogan is supposed to capture the essence of a story or the brand. It's very difficult to get a slogan, and it's not easy to kind of get a, let's say, daag achhe, or an idea can change your life, or Jagore. It sounds very simple,
Yeah.
but the beauty of it is you work for months, funneling through a lot of confusion to arrive at that. What is the simple thing that you want to say? And if I could, I try and not follow a lot of advertising principles in film because I'm exhausted doing that all my life. So I want to try something else. But no, if I could actually put all my advertising principles into film, you can rest assured that the film will appeal to a mass audience almost every time. Because advertising teaches you to kind of, not the lowest common denominator, which is wrong. It is like to communicate in a way which is so simple and appeal to so many more people at the same time.
Right.
In film, we want to kind of express a bit of ourselves
Yeah.
always. That's where you tend to kind of get a little selfish and a little self-indulgent. Every film is self-indulgent because you are putting a bit of yourself in it. Advertising cannot afford to be self-indulgent. Though you may tell your story, you will have to tell it in a way that is a lot more relevant to people than it's to you.
But are there any ads that you have created that you are really disappointed with?
Every one of them.
Oh.
I never see an ad that I've done. As soon as it comes on TV, I switch it off. I switch channels and all. You'll always find some problem. Every film, oh shit, this shouldn't have been like. I remember the very first time we saw there was an ad which we did, Hoodie Baba for a bike. Okay, and people thought I was mad. I had gone to a client because you get briefs with bikes saying it has got this, it's got this, it's got. It's a normal bike, yeah, it's got this, it's got power, it's got dependability, it's got reliability, it's got fuel efficiency. How many things will you say to a person? So what do you think you are? Yeah, God's gift to mankind. This bike is. He says, yeah, I mean, it's a fabulous bike and everything else. So I didn't know what to say. I didn't even know the meaning of that. I said, what do you? You'll have to coin some rubbish thing like Hoodie Baba or something like yeah, this is a God. And very strangely, when I said it, I don't know what logical sense it makes. It sounds like it's the mother of all bikes. Right. Okay, boom. When I told the client, because this is the beauty, when advertising people and marketers speak to each other, they understand what they're saying. Rajiv Bajaj only asked me one thing, you're sure it's not a bad word, no? I said, as far as I don't know, you check out all languages and all this stuff, but as far as I know, it's not a bad word. Hoodie Baba, I've never heard a bad word. I would have used it by now. Yeah. But it's not there, so it mustn't be good. So when I saw it and I saw the ad, I said, what? I thought it was God had sent me to be the genius in this earth and dropped this word Hoodie Baba in my head and all that thing. I saw the ad and I said, well, shit, yeah, this is all Hoodie Baba. Oh, garbage. You're thinking of all that stuff. You thought of it. And I was so happy. It's little things make you so happy. Advertising always makes you unhappy because you don't know the results till it happens. Yeah. But the day the ad came out, very strangely, it appeared in a match or something like that, and cricket is a great reach for people. In the evening, I saw 4 bikers going somewhere in Bandra only, saying Hoodie Baba and going. I said, works. Yes. And if you could say Shamita on the bike, bang on, it works. So they didn't say that, they said the other.
Now, ads often have bigger, larger budgets and, than even feature films, considering the size of each one. And what do you wish in an ideal world that you could take from ads? Is it just the money? Is it the chance to be, amazingly creative? What is it that you wish you could pick up from the ad world? Because in films you can't, because in films you're catering to, first of all, the pan-Indian audience, and then you're catering to the man who told you about the heaviness, remember? And things like that. So you can't really be totally creative. So what is it that you wish that you could take from ads and put them into films?
It's the other way around. I think films you can be totally creative if you want to. Really? Ad you're a brand, you've got a task to do, and you have to do it. You have to tailor your creativity to a certain thing. It's not true that advertising budgets are a lot more than feature films. I'll tell you where the budget, not in making. In the making of it, you're spending, like in a film, if I were to shoot a phone, I would light it up and shoot this phone in half an hour. In an ad, I would light it up for a full day because the phone is the hero, not Bachchan. Okay, so I would have to shoot the phone like Bachchan. So the money goes into shooting the phone like Bachchan. So there's a lot of techniques which I employ. So you do spend a lot of money on advertising. Okay. So you go to various locations. See, when you go to London for a feature film, you do 20 days there. You amortize the cost across 20 days. Yeah. Here you go there for 1 day shoot. But you still have to pay. So it seems like it's a lot more. It's not. But where advertising is a lot more is on media. When you spend the money in showing the ad to people. Right. That's a lot more money being spent. Yeah. So actually the cost of advertising is, the cost behind a piece of ad is a lot more than behind a piece of film because of the media costs.
So what are the things that you would like to take from filmmaking? Like, would you like to shoot your films the way you shot, the way you would, like, you know, like, as you said, look at it from different angles?
Never.
No?
Never get bored to death. No way. No. Film is you want to tell a story, you want to tell it as beautifully as you want. But in a film, you have to look at the big picture. You have to say what matters, what doesn't matter. You can't say, I crafted that light in that corner with so much, nobody saw it. Yeah. If you're going to look at the light and not what's happening out there, then there's something wrong with your film.
Yes.
So I think you have to very cleverly film is about compromise at every stage, but compromise so that nobody sees your compromise. Okay. Where do you compromise so that nobody? It doesn't matter. So why are you spending money on that? It doesn't matter. Spend the money on what matters, what people are going to see. That's what film is.
But so you really believe cinema is illusion? Is there place for reality in cinema?
I think reality is very boring. I just believe that cinema is there because it's more interesting than life. Why drag life into cinema? Because I think cinema is there because it makes life more interesting.
Yeah.
Why would you say, I made real cinema? Why would I want to make? I mean, you can act like real people, you can behave realistically, you can show realistic incidents. That doesn't mean I show the life of a person as it was in cinema. Who the hell wants to see it? Nobody wants to see it. I live it every day. It's boring.
True. Do your films change you in any way? Do they give you insights into yourself?
Yeah.
Can you tell us like how?
Not very consciously, but instinctively when you write. Because when I write, I don't have a plan saying this is what. So it comes out and then you use your common sense to kind of structure it properly, like an algorithm, so it makes sense. But the thoughts that come, the insights that come about people, about the way you say things, about a particular part of life, they are more instinctive, they are more spontaneous. It's not some deep-rooted insight, except for some quirks like I wear black and I don't like this and I don't like. You put some of those. Like I call my mother Bum, and I never call her Ma, I never call her Ma, anything else. So I call her Bum. So I wanted to use that somewhere. I used it in Pa.
Yes.
I call the grandmother Bum.
Yeah.
So those are little personal things you put into films. But beyond that, I don't think it's anything deep inside me because I think fundamentally I'm shallow. So therefore, you just do shallow things, and if something deep comes out, it came out by accident, not that you consciously wanted and thought about it. That's what it is.
So can you tell us some insights that your film has given you, any film?
I've always, I don't know, very subconsciously, I've always made a big fuss about small things.
Okay.
And I've made very little fuss about the big things. And I believe that, okay, when, a relationship breaks off, okay, broke off. But this coffee is not good. Let me talk for 1 hour why this coffee is not. It's fun. I like somehow instinctively to spend a lot of time talking about very relevant things and very little time talking about the hugely relevant things in life.
Okay.
Because I believe that very few people talk about the irrelevant things and a lot of people talk about the relevant things, So many books and pages written about all these things. I find it very tiring and I find it very boring to explore all these depths of people, I just But the day the ad came out, very strangely, it appeared on a match or something like that, and cricket is a great reach for people. In the evening, I saw 4 bikers going somewhere in Bandra only, saying, Hodi Baba, and going. I said, works.